Welcome to Jimmy Bowen and Friends. Each week's episode features Jimmy Bowen and a special guest like Wade Hayes, Minnie Murphy, and Jeff Carson. Today's guest is David Starr. Now, here's Jimmy Bowen.
Way up in the sky, moon and planet spot, comet streak and shooting stars fall down. I'm just sitting here, sipping on my second beer, and doing my stargazing on the ground, where all those heavenly bodies come out at night to play. Heavenly bodies, it just takes my breath away. Yeah, baby, I'm gonna sit here from now on till closing time, just working on making your heavenly body all mine. Pretty blondes walk by, sexy smiles say hi, but how's a man to choose the one that's right? Then my eyes saw you, and my body knew that I just found my angel for tonight, where all those heavenly bodies come out at night to play. Heavenly bodies, it just takes my breath away. Yeah, baby, I'm gonna sit here from now on till closing time, just working on making your heavenly body all mine, where all those heavenly bodies come out at night to play. Heavenly bodies, it just takes my breath away. Yeah, baby, I'm gonna sit here from now on till closing time, just working on making your heavenly body all mine, just working on making your heavenly body all mine.
Well, welcome to the show. We have got a singer-songwriter extraordinaire with us tonight. He is from out west, out in the Colorado area, and he has got a story to tell, and he's written some great songs he's going to be performing to you tonight, and all kind of real interesting facts that he's been going on with the movies and all kind of cool stuff. Mr. David Starr is here with us tonight, and looking forward to David's coming on board with us tonight. You guys hang tight with us, and we'll be back after these sponsored messages.
There's more Jimmy Bowen and Friends coming up right after this short break. Welcome back to Jimmy Bowen and Friends.
Well, welcome back, folks. Our guest tonight is just an extraordinary entertainer, writer, producer, singer, guitar player, and I just love this gentleman. And he has got some great material for you guys tonight and some great stories he's going to share with you tonight. Please make welcome Mr. David Starr. David.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. Appreciate you
Happy to be here.
coming by and sharing your talents with us tonight. We really do appreciate that.
You bet.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Touchstones project.
Well, during right about the time the pandemic became a big thing and everything stopped, I had just completed and released an album called Beauty and Ruin, which we'll play some songs from coming up. but we had all this time on our hands, right? And we didn't know where this was going, and we didn't know how long it was going to last. So I thought, I've always wanted to record some cover songs. So I made a list, and it got longer and longer and longer because I grew up playing in cover bands. I mean, that's what we all did, right? So anyway, I whittled it down to 11 or 12 songs. That became the Touchstones project, and released that about a year ago, something like that. I don't know. The years are all running together, but it's been but here's what we released it instead of doing a CD or whatever all at once. We released a song a month with a little narrative to go with it and a video. So it took a year. So yeah, it's been a year.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
It was fun.
I've seen some of the project, and it's wonderful. I love it.
It was fun. It was fun. It was fun for all the guys in the studio just to get in there and go, yeah, we remember that one. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
Well, tell us about the movie project that you've got going on. It was written on about a book from your grandfather?
Well, the movie's top secret, but I'll tell you all about it. So we haven't done anything with it yet except talk about it, but you got to start somewhere. Rewind a little bit to that project I was talking about that I did with that came out right as the pandemic stopped us all in our tracks. It was an album called Beauty and Ruin, and that was derived or inspired by a book that my grandfather wrote back in the early 70s. He wrote it. It was his last novel that he wrote, and then he passed away suddenly. I took that book and took it to my friend John Oates, and I said, let's give this book to some songwriters. Everybody contribute song material inspired by the record, right? Or by the book. Then we make a record out of that. And fast forward to now, we're talking about putting a movie together. And the setting is like late 1800s, Southwest Arkansas, really hard place to live and to make ends meet. And there's believe it or not, there's a woman that comes into a man's life and wreaks havoc. It's an old story, but Anyway, it's a beautiful book. It's a tragic book, but it's and kind of a whodunit as well. So
right.
So we're working on that.
Well, you're going to do that song tonight, right?
We are going to do that song.
Beauty and Ruin.
Yes.
You're going to do that for us, right?
We are.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Starr.
Thank you. I wrote this with my friend John Oates. It's called Beauty and Ruin.
I traveled far through the lonely wood, crawled when I had to, ran when I could. No way to know what I would find. Beauty and ruin at the end of the line. This crooked road that I wound up on led me to you, and now you're gone. A sky of blue turned cold and gray. Beauty and ruin at the end of the day. Beauty in the sinking sun, union of two lonely ones together in the dark. Ruin in the breaking dawn, unforgiving light falls on two hearts torn apart. Heed the story in a face grown old. See the faded glory of a dying rose. Savor the sweet and bitter wine. Beauty and ruin, I was yours and you were mine. Wisps in the winds of chance. We'd fall and twist, we'd spin and dance. You spoke to me in words that rhyme, beauty and ruin forever entwined. Beauty and ruin at the end of the line. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Don't go away. Jimmy Bowen and Friends will be right back. Welcome back to Jimmy Bowen and Friends.
David, that was awesome.
Thank you.
I love that song. That was
very much.
You do it so smooth and so much with feeling that it's great.
Well, thank you.
I love that. I love that.
My good friend Dana Cooper helped me write that one. So
Yeah,
I'm very fortunate to
that's
have
great.
good
Great.
co-writers on that one.
Okay, now you have a special relationship with one of the most, I guess, unique and famous duos, Hall & Oates, John Oates.
I do. I know John.
So how did you guys get hooked up together?
Well, most of my time I spend on the western slope of Colorado. John has a home out that way in the Aspen area, just a few miles away. So I knew people that he played with, and they knew me. And so one day they said, we ought to get John and you together and do some playing. So they came over to the little town where I live, and we played a gig. And I said, let's write together. And then I said, let's do another gig. And then I just kept after him. And one day I went over to his house to write with him, and I said, one other thing, would you produce a record for me? And he went, yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
cool. So 2 records later, yeah, we've written quite a bit together, and he's produced 2 albums, and he's as good as they get, man.
That is awesome.
He's the real deal.
The real deal. Well, how did Rise Up Again come about?
Well, we were working on the Beauty and Ruin album that spoke of, and all of a sudden on a Friday night, I had to go to the hospital because something was wrong with me, and I had to have emergency surgery. And while I was in that hospital bed, I had a very, very vivid dream about my father and grandfather, who are both deceased. And in that dream, they came to me. It was very, very, I can see it when I close my eyes now. But bottom line, long story short, when I came out of the dream, I thought, what am I going to make out of that? What does that mean? I decided that they'd come to me to let me know it wasn't my time yet, and you can imagine how relieved I was. Yeah. It's like,
I bet.
It was a very, and I don't know if it was the narcotics, I don't know what it was, but in the hospital, I was in there for 8 or 9 days, and it was bad. I mean, I was not going to do well. If I'd stayed home, here's the lesson. If you're staying home on the couch thinking that's going to get better, it's not. So, going to the hospital. So anyway, but that song was inspired during the time we were working on this album, so it sort of wove its way into the book project and the album and the whole thing. But
that's great. And you're going to do that right now, aren't you?
Yes, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Starr with Rise Up Again.
Yeah. Wrote this with John Oates. It's called Rise Up Again.
His father came to me at night as I tossed my head on a fever bed, praying for the light. Years of spoken poetry, words dancing round his head. Then a younger said, cut down, and I was running at full speed, thinking everything I wanted was everything I'd need. Betting I was faster than any wicked wind that blew my way. You will rise up, you will go on. It's not your time, it's just one more storm. We are like leaves scattered to the wind. We'll rise up again. Those are gone before me spoke to me in dreams, telling me their race is not yet run. Their faces lost to history, circumstance and mystery, fading names and places gone to time. Those who were cut down, running at full speed, believing that their destiny was all they'd ever need, betting they were faster than any wicked wind that blew their way. You will rise up, you will go on. It's not your time, it's just one more storm. But we're like leaves scattered to the wind. You will rise up again. Rise like a wild horse in a shadow box, waiting for the sun. Well, I'll dream till my day comes around. This crooked world won't beat me till I am truly done. I'm not ready for the burying ground. You will rise up, you will go on. It's not your time, it's just one more storm. The wind like leaves scattered to the wind. You will rise up, rise up again. Rise up Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more Jimmy Bowen and Friends in just a moment. Welcome back to Jimmy Bowen and Friends.
Well, what did you think about David? Man, he's a great writer. I love the stuff that he does. It's a storytelling thing. I was so glad to have him on the show. And maybe we'll go out there to Colorado and see him. Guys, what do you think? It'd be kind of fun to go out there. Hook up with John Oates, too. That'd be kind of neat. So anyway, we thank you guys. We're going to say goodnight to you on this one. And this was also written by Max T. Barnes and called Borders and Boundaries. We're going to say goodnight. We'll see you next time.
Man is only strong as his gentlest touch, and love can slip right through his hands if he holds on too long or a little too much. But some men just don't understand. Borders and boundaries, fences and walls, made of steel and stone, can't hold a woman if she wants out. In her heart, she's already gone. Darling, surround you with all of my love, the only thing I know to make you stay. I'll hold on too long or hold on too much. Love ain't about shackles and chains.